Hey there, commercial construction coffee talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David Corson. I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction and Renovation magazine. This is what it used to look like back in the day when I was a print face-to-face guy. I'm breaking out some archives here. March of 2021. And we had the Patel supermarket chain, one of the largest Indian food chains in the country. So we really appreciate them gracing the cover. Let's see what this issue was. This issue was 152 pages. See what I was doing back then. Man, my hair was dark and a lot less gray. But I was down there doing some Habitat for Humanity, University of Denver, my alum. We have a local chapter. We're called the Peachtree Pios. And they went and oh man, it was hot that day. And I was sweating my tail off, but we had to remove all the mulch and we helped this greenery. And it was a really cool place down there. They had a park. We worked our tails off. But it's always nice to see what I was doing, back in the day and holding the magazine. But our last issue we printed was August of 2021. That's when we went 100% digital. I still have a print on demand service, but it's been an amazing conversion from print to face. And last year I just had under 49 million people hit the website consuming content. And last month I had 7.6 million people. I mean, some insane number. So, to all of you out there, I am indebted to you for finding us on the web and continue coming back and your golden mile. So, it's 2025, just been an amazing run, Q1, and now we're into Q2. It's raining here in the ATL. I'm about 2 to 3 weeks out on the end of my house. I'm cruising, and yeah, it's just every day is never a dull moment in the Corson house. I got my rescues. Hopefully they won't bark. But today I've got one of my local uh, clients on that I was actually just went down for media day, and we got a tour of the plant, and it was awesome. I hadn't been there in a while, but I hadn't seen some of that stuff. So she's down south. Her name is Carolina Albano, right? And she's with Stow Corp, which is an architectural building products. They're on the cutting edge of exterior. I'm going to let her tell the story. But the bottom line is they've got some really cool products that I saw that came out new, and I thought it would be great to talk about Stow, especially as I'm building my house and finishing up. I always like hearing new stuff, and so Carolina, Lena, say hi to our listeners out there in Commercial Construction Coffee Talk.
Hi, thank you, Dave, for having me. I'm so excited to be here talking with you and having some coffee talk. I came prepared. Um, yeah, so I am Carolina Albano. I have been in the industry for 20 years or so. I started out on the engineering side of things. I'm originally a Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech. Sorry to the Georgia fans, but
Buzz,
yes,
buzz.
that's right. So I went into engineering school. I'm a mechanical engineer. I started out at Motorola doing process engineering. So I used to do ME and industrial engineering work. And then I switched over to the construction side. I started out working for a fiber cement manufacturer, training installers many years ago. And I evolved into leading that technical team and working on the technical side of the industry, codes, testing, approvals, that sort of stuff. And then I eventually wanted to go to sales. I used to go to sales meetings to help close the deal with technical questions because, as we know, our customers care about manufacturers who are knowledgeable in their products and the performance and the spec. And so I figured, hey, why don't I just give sales a try? So I went to the dark side and I switched over to sales. And so I've done a whole myriad of jobs, anywhere in between. So today I landed at Stow Corp in 2021. Jose, the CEO, um, was looking for someone to lead a new business unit for them, which was a Rainscreen business unit, and that's all I've ever done. And so I said, of course, I'd be honored to. And so since July of 2021, I've been tasked with building the team and going out there and promoting our products in the Rainscreen arena. Now, Rainscreens are not new to Stow. They're just new to Stow Corp here.
Yeah. Listen, we looked at some of the, like I said, we were just at the media day. So, uh, Stow is in that waterproofing, exterior clad. I mean, I didn't, the rainwater. They actually had a really cool surface material. It looked like wood. You could stain it any color, but you could not tell the difference of it. I'm telling you out there, I see a lot of stuff. I thought that was really, really cool. Uh,
Yes.
but from a cutting edge standpoint, you've been around seeing the plant and how, first of all, safe it was, number one, but number two, just everything the way you see a bag of concrete or adhesive, you don't know how it's made and where it comes from, and seeing the whole process from start to finish, right there on the pallet, or getting put on the truck. I saw the whole gig. Uh, it was awesome. And consistency is the name of the game because so many of those bags or those buckets are gonna get shipped, purchased, end up on the job site, and hopefully they'll recycle the bucket after whatever. The bottom line is it's going to go through all of that. It was amazing to see. I wonder where that bag's going to end up, you know,
Mhm.
on some pallet. So, just very, very exciting. And um, did you when you were in school? Were you thinking about, a lot of people will get a degree and they go do something else. Did you kind of ponder on that kind of stuff, or was like mechanical construction, this is it?
No, I got into mechanical engineering because I wanted to work at McLaren to work in Formula One. So absolutely not. No idea. No. So no, it just life hands you where you need to end up. That's just how things work out. And I'm very blessed. I love the construction industry. I love the community that is around this industry. And there's always something to do. There's always work. There's innovation, sustainability, all the things that touch an engineer's heart are in this industry. And so I never wanted to leave it. So, so
I'll
I've
tell you,
stayed.
I came to Atlanta in '92, so I went through the Olympic build, the
Mm,
urban sprawl, and I've been here so long, and it's just amazing to see how much the skyline, well, just downtown, but then in the surrounding areas, it is amazing how much concrete, exterior cladding, lighting, acreage. It's mind-boggling when you really think about how much, let's see, 92, that's 8, 20, 33 years I've almost been here. And
mhm.
seen so much. Uh, and I'll tell you, one of the cool things is that, your product can go into new construction. It can be in a renovation. And I always like that reuse side of things. If you can take an old property, facility, and be able to keep that heritage and then apply the products that are going to make it, sustainable, more efficient, architecturally stimulating, uh, easy to work
Yeah.
with. That's the name of the game in the building products arena,
Yeah,
I
the
presume.
most sustainable building is the one that's already built,
Yeah.
hands down. Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. And that was one of the reasons why I love our product line. Yes, like I inherited an existing product line that we've perfected. So our thing is perfect the product, perfect the funnel, provide something that the market wants. So we always come from an innovation standpoint in our team because when you have an engineer in charge, and also by the way, my boss is an engineer too. So we're a very innovative centric company. And of course, we're also a German company. So, like, you can't not be innovative. You can't not be coming from that perspective. But one of the things I love about our product is that it's very well suited for overclads. So, when you want to bring a building up to code, to your point, or improve on the facade, or the facade is tired and old, and or there's something wrong with that, you can still, you don't have to tear the building down. You don't have to. I heard in one of your podcasts that you shoveled asbestos as a teenager. Like, you don't have to tear any of that stuff up. Sometimes it's better to leave that stuff in place and just clad over. That's safer, it's more sanitary, etc. So yeah, that's one of the things that I love about what we offer.
Hey, that asbestos story, my family's been in construction since 1888. They're in demolition recycling. Okay. So it's like fifth, listen, all the grandsons, I was outside of Philadelphia, west of Valley Forge, probably 45 minutes from Philly. Anyway, uh, My great great grandfather, they started this company way, way back when. Anyway, they were in sustainability before sustainability was even a word. I've got some killer 8 millimeter videos of after World War II. They were shredding all the tanks and the Jeeps, cutting up all the steel and using it. And but when you got your license in 16 to drive, all the grandsons that were in the family, we all had to go work at the scrapyard. Okay. And or else you weren't going to drive. That was just the reality of it. And I'm not, and that's just the way it was back then. Now I'm sure they make their granddaughters go do it too. But I'm sure, you know. But my Uncle Frank was my first super, and we, was in the steel yard. I had to watch out for the cranes, acetylene torch. I built some paint booths. Anyway, we were on this job. We were taking down these huge towers, buildings. And we were knocking them down, but they wanted to get all the steel out of the building beforehand, and there was asbestos on there. So I was on this crew with these guys, and it's summertime. It's 100 degrees in Philly, humid, hot, and and back then we had it all, but we had to knock all the asbestos off the pipes, and it would drop, and then they would remove it from the site. But we'd have a hose guy in there to keep the dust down and stuff. And
Mhm.
but back then, no one knew anything, so we were just working our tails off, and that was one of my jobs that I did. So, but it was good learning from, and there was a crew that's all they did. So I just watched these guys, and they were awesome workers. So you're talking about your transition to Stow in 2021. What a time to be making, a change. So like I went from print face to face to digital, during that time period. So, if you look back 5 years, basically almost as, give or take a few weeks, everything's cruising along, buildings cruise, cranes all over the place. I don't care what city you're in the country, and then everything goes kaput. And now you look back 5 years later, and a lot of the companies that I've talked to had some of their best years where they learned more about their company, their people, and learned how to turn on a dime, but also that there's more to work than there's more to life than just work. There's that life balance so I was curious what you learned or Stow Corp kind of innovated as you look back over your last 5 years and how you guys survived and came into now we're in Q2 in 2025.
Well, I think that one of the biggest reasons that we've had our best years, like we did not, right? I mean, just like you, like we've never seen numbers the way that we've seen them in the last 5 years at Stow. And I think it all goes back to relationships and like we've been around and we never wavered and we never said, "Oh, we're going to have to, gouge you," or, "Oh, you're going to have to wait." Like we did all that we could to continue to serve the customers that we have, and I think that's made such a big difference because it's just made us the reliable solution, the reliable folks in the field. And, I don't know if you noticed when you visited, but like our tenure, like our employees are loyal to Stowe. Like we have people that have been there 30 years. Like if you look on LinkedIn, I don't know if you're connected, but like so and so celebrating 30 years,
Oh yeah.
35 years. Like I've never seen that any place I've ever worked. To so many people that just love the company because it's a great company to work for. And as an extension of that, that's how we treat our customers too. And I think that makes a big difference.
Hey, taking the tour of the plant. Like I said, I've seen a lot of plants over the years, and plants, millwork, steel, architectural flooring. The cool thing about companies when you go and you see their inside of their company culture, you can tell a lot about what they do, and everywhere you went through the maze of the production cycle, all the people like their jobs. And if you got people that like to do what listen, it's repetition. I don't care what you're doing. Everything's repetition. But if you don't like what you do, it's kind of a downer, and you can see that or feel that. So when I was walking through, I'm looking at stuff. Some stuff I've seen, some I haven't, but uh, it was really nice to see that your employees were knowledgeable. They were always all of them said hello, and it was a good vibe. I got at Stow.
That's
The
great.
whole
I will be sure to share that.
no, listen,
Yes.
I go to a lot of events, so I listen. I did events. Yours was done really well. Got me my hotel room. The buses showed up. We did the tour. We did the media day. We had lunch. I got through downtown Atlanta just before rush hour started, so I appreciated that too. But no, it was you could tell that there was pride in the company, and
Mm.
that stuff you can't buy. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, that warms my heart to hear, and I'll be sure to share as well because yeah, it's true, and customers see that too, I think.
So here in Georgia, we shut down and then we kind of reopened up. We really, it really, and think in construction, things just kind of just went on. I don't care if you were deemed essential or not. There were just projects there were like 3 or 4 I watched get built up over that time period. So with looking at from 2021 till today, as we opened up, with new product launches and so forth, how did you weather that storm per se with stuff?
So, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was in California, and it hit different in California than it did in Georgia for sure. Because I
Yeah.
remember going to Georgia, going, "Oh my God, there's no COVID here."
Yeah.
In California, everything was shut down for a very long time, and we were all very scared, contractors. And then the whole lumber shortage happened. I don't know if you remember that, where people were hoarding lumber and steel and um, so uh, so we definitely lost some projects, and a lot of stuff got delayed. A lot of stuff got delayed not because of anything that we could control. And I mean, but it's always been that way, hasn't it? Like there's always issues. Like there's always funding that fell through, and projects get delayed all the time. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens this year with, economists have been predicting a recession for years, and it just hasn't really come to fruition. And so where everybody's just kind of hanging in there and seeing, what's going to happen. But as far as we've had a growth trajectory from the beginning because we were starting out. So when you're starting out, you always show enormous growth, and that's what our team has shown so far.
Yeah.
Can't
It,
complain.
the first thing I did when in March of 2020, when I think I was in Milwaukee, I was on the road. Tom Hanks got the bug, and then everything got shut down. And so I told my son, I said, "Hey, we're gonna go redo the deck. All right, so we're gonna go and go get some wood." So if I didn't go out and get those 2x10s and eights or whatever I did the deck with, uh, and 2 months later, that would have cost like 7 or 10 times for
You
what I.
could have sold that and made so much money.
No, that was the first thing I said. Hey, I'm working out of the house now. It's not affecting me. So hey, we're gonna get the deck done. So let's go. Let's get the dumpster put out here and let's rock and roll. And we did the deck. And it was funny. It's like, Dad, you should be a contractor. I'm like, I come from a construction family. Trust me. I'm in construction. I just build a magazine. I just don't use lumber or 2x4s or, I use editorial content and software. And but
Yeah.
it was amazing to see during that time period because I was trying to put my house on the market, and we were doing the basement, and the little electrical gang boxes, they were like 50, 75 cents. They were $1.75. There was
Mm.
wire, 14.2, 12.2 gauge. We had that to light the basement, and it was rough because if you had started on a project and then that labor shortage or the product shortage came in, and then when you got it, it was rough. But the people that I think took a deep breath and said, I'm gonna get this done, and I'm gonna do it. Those people are looking far, far ahead. But like I said, the most of the people I talked to, they said I would have taken on more jobs if I would have had more superintendents or project managers that could have gotten the projects done. But I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, and you can't take on projects because, and but the whole skilled labor, that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, for sure. That whole labor shortage, it's still a thing. It's been a thing that we've been seeing for a while now, for before COVID. But as far as we're concerned, our second year in business, the end of 2022, we got a 65,000 square foot project, like just landed on our lap, and we clawed our way in, but still, we haven't really seen we haven't seen a decline because we're so new, and the market's still learning about us and adopting us. So we're full speed ahead.
Uh, do you guys use AI, in like any of your projection or like markets that you look at and, hey, maybe we should figure out. I'm just curious from a marketing guy.
Um, Not really. I mean, we use like the same projections that like we buy the projections that pretty much everybody else buys, and we talk to our customers. We do a lot of organic conversation with people in the Northeast. We also have distribution partners. Stow has enormous distribution partners. They share some of their information with us. We are in the markets, right? We have people everywhere, so we get a lot of discussion going too. As far as AI, we use AI for project estimation to help us. We use technology to help us streamline our work processes. But as far as like predictive technology, we haven't, as far as I know, we haven't gotten into that.
So give our audience on commercial construction coffee talk just kind of a broad outline of the product line that Stowe has. With your division, you know what all the other ones are. Just give them kind of a broad umbrella of what's under that Stowe name.
So our vision is to own the wall from the substrate out. So literally, anything from the substrate, from the sheathing out, is something that Stow can provide for you. So air and moisture barriers, fluid applied, and self-adhered membrane. We've got, of course, eaves and stucco is where we started. Actually, Stow coined the trademark, the name eaves. They invented it. So anything having to do with eaves, base coat, mesh, finish. Oh my gosh, the amount of finishes that we offer is super long, too long for me to even name. And then, of course, we have our Stow panel network. So a panelized wall, a modular wall, a prefab building. We have a network of partners that also create
I
panelized
saw I
buildings.
saw it done, folks out there during the tour. They had some guys in the plant they were putting up the panels. Saw it hanging on the metal. The one that was a very cool way to do it versus just screwing them in. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So our division is the Rainscreen division. So Rainscreen is a wall outside of a wall. So it's very different from eaves. And it can look any number of ways. If you can do a Rainscreen, if you have a way to hang a product with, so we have our sub construction is what we call it. Then to that you can attach terracotta, metal, fiber cement, mosaics, a render system. Basically sky's the limit. So, like I said, our dream at Stowe, or our vision, our 5-year vision for when our CEO took over, was to own the wall. And so what we've done is acquired systems and innovated systems to provide that, so that we can to back that, right? So we can say we can provide you the wall. We have a coworker that says, "What do you want your building to look like?" We can provide that for you.
as we go into Q2, second half of the year, and into 2026, now that the election's over, they tell me that, but I swear I hear politics every day for some odd reason. But
Mhm.
regardless, I'm just a little entrepreneur hanging out here, and trying to get my stuff done. I can't change any of that stuff anyway, so I don't know, I'm adhered to where I'm
You're
going.
crazy to
Forward.
try. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but as you go, you're marketing and you're building your new division. As you go through the remainder of the year, do you see any trends that will be interesting that our listeners might want to know about as you're out there?
Yeah, certainly. The trend is lead time and price. That's what I'm seeing. So make sure your product is available, or you're going to lose it to somebody who doesn't have it available. And of course, you got to come in at a price that people can pay, especially now that people are scared, with the tariffs going up. Who knows what that's going to do? If the tariffs go through or not go through, I don't know, but they're real right now. So if you have somebody who is buying products or raw materials from outside of the United States, expect price increases. So that's what customers are going to be. Even if your product doesn't go up, your customer might buy other products from somewhere else that did or that are subject to a price increase. So I think people are going to be very price conscious going forward. And then again, also with availability, because time is money. So if you're sitting at a job site with, you're waiting on 33 pallets of sod and it's not arriving and you're paying that rent and you're getting fined, that's also going to be a big deal. Other than, of course, like the regular things that always matter. But I think those two are going to definitely be something to look out for.
Yeah, uh, lead time and price. Price, you have to, to me, price is it's just that sweet spot where people are going to look, and you're probably going to have some competitors, but you want to have just the best overall experience, and that when it's presented, you'd be one of what, like I was going up against 50 magazines probably a month. But I knew that if I put my magazine down on a table with all of them, I bet you mine's getting picked up in the first three. I'm not going to say number one. Maybe it might, but it's going to, because people are like, that one looks pretty cool. Let me check that out. And
Yeah, it's all about what the content, right? It's about the quality that you provide. 100%, but sometimes you can have the best product out there and people are like, no, sorry, I literally can't buy it.
mhm.
I can't afford it. And maybe that's not your customer. Maybe that's somebody like when times are better, then they would be your customer. But I just see that as a trend, like in
Uh,
general, where people
I-
before were like batting an eye, now they're like thinking twice.
My mother's like, "You're lucky you built your house when you did." This is what she was telling me yesterday, as they're driving down to Mexico for a week at 85, and she's like, "You're lucky you built your house because you don't know what the prices were going to be. That hardy board probably, And I was like, "Oh, mom, build it. You got to build. You got to roll with it." The tariff thing. I've been looking at pricing. I get press releases from so many people that for new products, and it could be anything. And a lot of them are just they've gone and said, "Hey, I'm raising the price because of this." And I got those 2 or 3 years ago. So it's just the cost of doing business,
Yeah.
and um, really the when it comes down to it, the two owners of those companies, the United States and whoever that is, they're going to talk, and hopefully it'll be good. So I'm thinking positive that all this stuff will be short term, and but I'll tell you. I'm looking forward to once I get this house done. I'm gonna go. I got a lead on another little home. I think it's 2,800 square feet, and my wife are gonna go do that one as well. So I like building
Where is
houses.
that? In the Atlanta area?
Yeah, that's going to be in Cartersville, and it's almost like a barn dominium. Do you know what that is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so barn dominiums are here. If you don't live in the South, you probably maybe you know about it, I don't know. But down here in the South, they have these things called barn dominiums. They're like southern ranches, but they're barns that are the house, and they build them a little different. They put up the frame and then they pour the concrete, and it's uh it's like the rage down here, and so. I'll have some metal roof, but it's called a barnuminium. So
Okay, I learned something new today. Thank you for that.
yeah, so that's what. So
Condominium.
as a residential builder, I was like, oh, we want to get another project because there's a shortage of homes. Someone's going to have to go
Yeah,
build them. Well, we want to build some of them, so we're looking forward to it. But um,
fun.
if someone wanted to talk about the wall and Stow, how would someone reach out to you or your team, to find out what they're looking for? Whether they're, thinking about a remodel project or they're doing another prototype, and how would someone reach out?
Well, if you're listening to this and you just want a quick response, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/Carolina Albano. and I can route you to the right people. We have salespeople all over that cover every market. We have technical people. Actually, our salespeople are quite technical and can speak to most most answers and or will direct you to somebody who can get you the answer. But for a quick solution, yeah, just reach out to me. Stocorp.com, huge website. It is filled with information. It might overwhelm people, perhaps, if you don't know what you're looking for, but it is actually organized by system. So if you know that you're looking for a prefab solution, you can find that. If you're looking for a Rainscreen, you can just go and scroll down, click on Rainscreen. So there are, it is actually very well organized. And I think right now our fiber cement launch is the front page. So if you go to stocorp.com, that's what you're going to see. But yeah, I mean, you'll be directed to wherever you need to go, and there's also a little search box that you can click on. But if all that seems overwhelming, just reach out to me, and I'll get it handled by somebody.
I'll put all these links in the description. I'll also put it on here when I edit it. But stocorp.com, great place to go. Got all sorts of stuff. And then LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, get on there because if you're in business, you got to be on there. I don't care what sector you're on. It is the place to be, is LinkedIn. Uh, so as we finish up, if there was one positive thought or phrase that you'd like to leave with our listeners out there on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, I wish I'd thought of it some more. Okay, how about this? Show up, stay sharp, and let the work speak for you.
Yeah, I
How
like
about
it.
that? All
I always
right,
tell people, let the scoreboard talk, man. Why are you chirping out there? What's the scoreboard say? Does it say 15
that's right.
nothing? Does it say 2-4? What does it say? You know, I
And
like,
you're only as good as the last time they kept score, right? So you got to always be showing up. Rents always do.
yeah, I hear you. Hey, if
Yeah.
anybody wants to reach me, I'm at David C at ccr-mag.com. I went to the media day, but I said, hey, we need to get someone on there, and here it is. And but the publicist reached out to me. I wouldn't have known about the media day. So I look at all that stuff. So if you don't send me something, it's like playing the lottery. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win. If you don't send me something, I can't find it. All right. And especially if I know them, like Stowe, they send me stuff. I'm going to put it up there. I'm going to put it in the, it takes a couple days to get it live, but we'll get it in there. So we love content. Send it to us. We'll find a place for it. Very tough to get in the magazine, but we will find it. And we do everything by Google standards, med tagged, and it's indexed. That's how Google finds you with search engine optimization, your SEO. So send it to us. It's a win-win. We love data. So and like Carolina said, it you know, you just it, it's one of those things. Just forget about all the stuff, worry about the simple stuff, and have fun with what you do. And before you know it, it's going to be the end of the year. Am I right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Keep showing up.
So
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
yeah. So three things why before we sign off. Number one, if you're on the construction site, we want you to be safe. We want you to get home, be able to have dinner with your family, kids, pets, whatever. Number two, I just threw my water bottle. If you're out there, you got to stay liquefied. Okay, you got to drink water all day. Put some electrolytes in there. This is the athlete in me. When you get dehydrated, you get headaches. When you get headaches, you make the bad pass. But if you stay liquefied and hydrated all day, and look, the hot weather's it was 89 degrees Friday, and I think it's like 40 out there right now. So, but the heat's coming. So get your body electrified now. But if you stay hydrated, you will have the best sleep, and you're going to be that much better for the following day. And last but not least, hit the like button. We want you to stay get the algorithms out there so we can find this episode on Stow and what they have coming out. So I just saw you a couple of weeks ago, but pleasure seeing you again. Thank you for being a guest. Any last words before you sign off?
No, I'm super grateful that we met. I loved our discussion. Maybe we can talk about that another time that we had in the office around, all kinds of code things. It's always fun to talk shop. So I really appreciate you inviting me and sharing this space with you. And hopefully I'll run into you soon.
All right. Uh, Everybody, it's Monday. Go through the remainder of the week, and before you know it, it'll be Hump Day on Wednesday and TGIF on Friday, and woohoo, another weekend. And before you know it, it's going to be summertime, and then The holidays are everything's at warp speed. Just remember, it is the most amazing time to be alive. Technology is at warp speed. There is so much going on. You won't recognize construction in the next 5 years. It's just, it's mind blowing how much is going to happen. But just take one day at a time and have fun and smile. So we will see you next time on another episode of Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. Carolina, thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed
Thanks.
the conversation. All right.
Thanks.
See you, everybody. Cheers.
Bye-bye.